Shall I just you?
No, that's fine. It wouldn't be funny, it'd be absolutely amazing. It would be a Easter miracle.
An Easter miracle. We need an Easter miracle. It freaks me out.
See?
Oh.
What?
This is weird.
It is weird. It's very weird. It's Wednesday. We recorded last week and we're here again.
That must mean one thing.
Must mean one thing.
That this is a special episode.
Special episode.
Just for you. Not you, because you didn't buy the pattern, but you did. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
That's amazing. Just think. Oh, how many do you think we'll get?
How many patterns?
How many
People will buy it.
People purchasing. Let's make a prediction.
Oh, gosh, I don't know. You don't like to guess these things, do you?
I suppose
You
to
know,
raise money for
we
cancer
want,
research.
We want to raise some money, yeah,
Who
absolutely.
Tilly Trout works for?
Is it cancer research?
Well, that's what she said.
Well, I knew that she was a research scientist and it was to do with cancer.
Yeah. Well, she said she posted.
Wow.
Tilly Trout posted that she works for cancer research, and they're virtually or wholly funded by charitable donations.
Oh, I didn't know that, Tilly. That's amazing.
We're assuming that Tilly's bought the pattern.
Oh, we are. We're talking to you, Tilly, as if you bought it.
If you have,
Yeah, she'll
that's
be like,
excellent.
no idea.
You've just paid £1 of your salary.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Why don't you just keep your pound? Yeah, I would. I mean, I really think that we should go after this really hard. I feel so passionately about it.
Yes.
And do you? I hope so. I mean, the whole idea with this is we have filmed some tuition videos, or I held the camera and Kay did all the legwork, which are also embedded in your pattern. And I'm sure there'll be loads of you who don't need to have a look at those.
No, it's yeah.
But
I think
imagine though if people are looking at the screen going, "Who are these two people?"
True. We've not even said who we are. We're just presuming that everybody knows who we are. And
Who
that
are
could
we?
Not be the case. They're just thinking, who are these random people that are just embedded into this pattern I've just bought?
Well,
that's quite funny. I never thought about that.
I'm a pearl stitch, and
I'm a knit stitch.
And Kay's a knit stitch.
Because I'm more common.
No. Oh, guess what?
What?
If people are watching and they don't know who we are,
Yes.
then we can be whoever we want to be.
I could.
So my name is Max Power.
Oh.
What's your name?
What did I always wanted to be? Oh, I don't know. I'm not good at doing things like this. I always wanted to be called Matilda.
Matilda, and what's your surname?
Oh, I don't know.
McGuinness. No.
McGuinness. I used to go to Paddy McGuinness. Who's Paddy McGuinness? Who's
He
that?
presents Take Me Out,
Oh gosh,
a programme
no.
we do not
Awesome.
enjoy. It's like, I don't know if, it'd be interesting,
Programme.
people's experiences of programmes like, what was the one with Cilla Black? Blind Date.
Blind Date was great.
People know what Blind Date is? I wonder
But
if...
that was years ago, and people would. It was different. It was all
Yeah,
different. then.
they didn't wheel people out like pieces of meat.
No,
there was
they
a
didn't.
barrier.
So
You couldn't see the person. It was all about personality. It was good. That was a good programme, I thought.
14.
So Matilda I. Partridge.
Oh, don't be silly.
Kay's... Oh, no, I've just said your name.
Oh,
I've blown it.
Totally blown it.
So you are
Matilda.
Matilda and I'm Max.
Matilda and Max.
Matilda and Max. Max and Matilda. Matilda and Max.
Ruby and Max.
Yeah, I
I
know.
should have been Ruby.
Well, you could change it.
Ruby and Max.
Max
Oh,
and Ruby. That's brilliant. We are Max and Ruby.
Does anybody know that programme? We're now Max and Ruby.
Now, I won't dwell on why we're here, because I'm sure many of you will know, but for those of you who don't know, Well, they'll have a bit of an idea now because they'll have read the front page of the pattern.
Oh, right. But we should still say...
Last year, I got cancer. That's the first time I've ever said that on a podcast.
It is.
And I will never say that on a normal edition podcast. I'm only saying that to you here, the special people. So last year...
It's hard to say.
Yeah, it is. And I'm not going to say it again.
No.
I don't
want to hear it again, thanks very much.
I'm going to change it to another word. Doily. Last year, I got doily.
Sounds wrong.
And it wasn't great. It was bad, in fact, because it had spread. So they needed to put me on the strongest chemotherapy called BEP. And I started chemotherapy, and they were thrilled because I was so young and fit. I was very pleased at being called young and fit, because they could give me the strongest treatment. And they said then that...
I'm looking down all the time, I'm sorry, I'm knitting.
Yeah, because maybe people are looking and they're wondering, why are you knitting? Well, we are, of course, knitters.
Of course.
Which is another reason why we're here, and we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, I got doily. I went on to chemotherapy. They gave me BEP. I had 3 cycles, didn't I? All my hair fell out. Maybe I'll drop a picture in here that you can see. There aren't very many pictures of me because I got rid of loads, but I did, just especially for you guys, and with the joys of iCloud, I was able to find some that had slipped through the net, which I'll drop in round and about. Anyway, treatment finished in October.
Very end of... Oh, no, it wasn't actually. Mid-October, wasn't it?
Mid-October.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably important to mention at this moment, during treatment, I couldn't knit.
No.
And I think I didn't realise when I couldn't knit how much I was missing it.
All right.
And I also, while I was having treatment, I went from being Mr. Warm to Mr. Cold, didn't I?
You were cold all the time.
Yeah. And so I did start to think about, you're thinking about projects and nice yarn and all that type of thing. And virtually the whole time I was having treatment, I was wearing the evil hat.
It needs a wash, that's all I'm saying.
And they'll find out why in a minute. Well, in a few minutes.
It has been washed a couple of times, but I just don't think don't even want to know.
So the whole time... I can't smell it now. The whole time... The whole time I was having treatment, I was wearing one of these, made by...
Me.
My lovely wife. Matilda. Max, Ruby.
Max, oh, now we've blown it, haven't we now?
No, you are Ruby, I am Max.
Right.
Made by my wonderful wife, Max. Oh no, I've got it wrong again. And
it's a bit creased up because it's been thrown in the cupboard, hasn't it?
This hat means a lot to me because the very first hat I ever knit, is that right? Yes.
Yes.
Was this hat.
Was it?
Yes.
Right.
This is a bankhead hat.
It's a bankhead, but without the twisted rib.
Because Kay didn't think I was good enough then.
No, I didn't.
And I wanted to knit a hat, and I wanted to knit something that was slightly more challenging than some of the simpler things that I'd been doing. And you went online on Ravelry, didn't you?
I did.
And you found this pattern.
And I found that pattern.
By Susie Gawley.
Yep.
The great, all hail Susie Gawley.
It's a free pattern, we should say that.
It is a free pattern. I will stick a link in the notes to the bankhead hat. And me knitting this pattern, did I get the bug immediately? I think I did.
Yeah, I think
because
so. You knit 3, I think.
I immediately knit this one.
And we should say that was in some hand spun.
By
the lovely Deb.
By the Walter White of the yarn world. Deb from Fondant Fibre.
Yeah, she does some amazing hand spun.
She really does.
Yeah.
I've just knit something else in some of her hand spun.
And so have I.
And so have we all.
Yeah.
So it's the first hat I ever knit, and I absolutely loved it. Yeah. I loved the whole process. So I knit another one.
And that came from...
handspun.
It's handspun from...
Luli. Who has put out a podcast now.
She did.
And what is it called?
Ooh, I think it's called Luli.
Luli, we think it's called. I will stick a link in the notes below. Luli is cool.
And she's from New Zealand, and I thought she was English.
And then I called her Australian.
And you called her Australian, which I'm not sure is a good thing.
No. So then I knit this one. And that then began a bit of a love. I knit this one.
You did, and that one is just Rowan Aaron, isn't it?
This is just Rowan Aaron.
And I wear that one.
And you do. And I've knit others. Because when you knit a bankhead, it gets under your skin.
Your mum's got one, hasn't she?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you want to knit more. It is a very clever pattern. Although we've only just established that the only bankhead Kay has ever knit is this one.
I think so.
That's shocking.
And that one I knit it because it was for Dan whilst he was going through chemo. That one's in bamboo cotton. I wanted to do a cotton one so that it was not...
She was also trying to find a colour close to
your hair, so it looked like you'd just got hair.
Yeah.
But no, it's bamboo cotton, King Cole bamboo cotton, which is a DK weight. And I just did the same stitch count and everything. And it worked out fine. I think the pattern's for worsted, but it came out fine.
So the bankhead hat is really, I am synonymous with the bankhead hat. And I wanted to create a pattern that you could wear with the bankhead.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how, but how did it even begin?
You told me that you wanted it to be like the
But how did we even
pattern.
sit down and start talking about it?
You'd been going on about it for a bit, and
Okay.
I was kind of ignoring him.
Thanks.
But then I think one night you said to me, and I'm like, right, okay, I'll write something down. I'll try and work it out.
If I have to.
But you wanted it to slant. You wanted the purl bumps to go on the diagonal. So I think you start the scarf first, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
The scarf, which is part of your pattern.
Yeah, and then I worked out how to do that, where it was on the slant.
And we stuck a nice...
Didn't even write the pattern down. You just cast on and I showed you what to do and you went away. So I mean that shows you how easy it is.
With garter stitch all around it.
It's got garter. Yeah, the scarf's
I called it the right thing.
The scarf's got a garter border at the bottom and then a 3-stitch garter,
which I think looks lovely actually.
It does look lovely.
You told me that it's stretching out the stitches a little bit. Because you remember I said it looks different.
The edge, a garter edge always looks different to across the bottom, just because it's going in a different direction.
See, to a novice like me, we don't know these things.
Yeah.
So we're learning all the time. And I love how the side looks. But a little way into making that, you said...
It should be a cowl, because I said cowls are quicker to knit than scarves, and generally, I think as a knitter... I think people would prefer to knit a cowl as opposed to a scarf, because scarves go on forever and ever and ever.
They do, but I tell you, that was the other reason why she said to do a cowl, because I was knitting away and it was just going on. It was like on and on.
This big, and you've been knitting for like a month.
Now, I'm shifting now though, aren't I?
Yeah, it's definitely, we should have brought it to show.
When you get in the groove, it really starts to motor. And it is, do you know what? I'm really, really enjoying it. Now that I'm doing it with another project, I'm knitting it along with another pair of socks. And I'm really, really enjoying it. So we sat down and I said to Kay what I would like. She wrote down the pattern and I started knitting. And it worked.
It worked.
It worked rather nicely. And hence, from the bankhead was born the Handbrake.
And it's called the Handbrake because...
I always used to get the name wrong.
You always used to say, is that Handbrake hat that you're knitting? Oh, no, it's not.
But you know what I've just thought of? You know what I've just thought of?
What?
It's the Handbrake. So this is the Handbrake cowl. And every penny that is raised from the sale of this pattern will go towards cancer research. Yep. Because we're putting the handbrake on cancer.
Oh gosh, very good. Did you just think of that?
I did.
Oh.
It just came to me right then.
And it's some people have been spelling it break as in have a break, have a Kit Kat. It's brake as in handbrake in a car.
Yep.
So,
so as Kay said, I it's called that because I always called the bankhead the Handbrake.
Yeah.
So it just seemed to fit to call the pattern the Handbrake pattern. And I mean, my hope for this is just coming back to the fact of how cold I was. The things that I remember from treatment is feeling alone and being cold. And if you imagine that you're wearing something that someone who loves you very much has knit you, you're going to be warm, you're not going to feel alone, and from the person who's doing the knitting's point of view, you're creating something lovely, which you said you could knit in the colour of whatever the cancer is.
This is what the other thing I thought was, because I mean, as people I'm sure will know, that each type of cancer has its own colour, and actually I
doily. We call it doily.
Oh, sorry. Each type of doily has its own colour, and I don't know. We should have looked up what the colour is for testicular, shouldn't we?
Yeah, well, we didn't say that.
We didn't say what sort of cancer.
Yeah, they know now.
No. I think people knew that.
I'm embarrassed now. No, I don't think so.
All men have got them, It's like, it's no more embarrassing.
Some have got less than others.
You only need one, that's what I think. You don't need two.
I think what I would love from all of this process would be that we all knit a lovely cowl, and maybe we knit one for ourselves and we wear it, and that shows our support of cancer research. But also maybe we could knit one for any relatives or people who we might know who are maybe suffering, and maybe then they'll know that they're part of a greater community of people.
Or if they're a knitter themselves, then you could gift the pattern to them.
Yeah.
And then that way you're giving them a gift, and you're also making the donation, and then they get something to knit as well. And
but here's the real genius of the whole thing: just someone who's never knit before, with the wonderful instructional videos that you filmed, and with the simplicity of the pattern, because I'm not capable of that much.
No, it's knits and pearls, cast on, cast off.
New knitters. If we can, I think I'd combust if we started finding new knitters.
Yeah, and the tutorial I did very basic terms. This is how to cast on, this is how to do a knit stitch, this is how to do a purl stitch. So it is very basic. So to a lot of knitters out there, you'll be like,
Yeah, don't look if you know. Don't click on the links for the how-tos unless you want to watch and smile because you know, or if you are totally new to knitting. And if you are, hello.
It might be that you've got children that have started knitting, and you could say, right, okay, let's watch this together, and we'll cast you a little cowl on, and away you go. And because it's knitting the round as well, I do think that tends to be a little bit easier for new knitters. You don't ever have to turn your work. You're just going round and round and round and round. You don't even have to do any decreases like you do with a hat. It's, it couldn't be any more simple, really, could it? But then you get something lovely to wear at the end of it.
Yeah. So the Handbrake campaign. Something big is growing here. If we're going to do this, let's really do it. Let's really try and generate some real excitement and show people who are. I just know how much. Can you imagine what it would have meant to me if someone had done any of the things that we've spoken about? It would just mean so much, and it just feels all so positive and so right. That's the great thing. Yes. So we're here doing a special episode just for you, and we thought first thing we would do is we would talk about all our favourite bankheads. And
we've gone through that.
We have. Because you've only done one.
Can I throw that one on the floor now?
Look, they now need to know why. What happened was, I had my treatment, and fingers crossed, everything now is good. And I decided very quickly I was going to do two things. First thing was I was going to get fit, and I mean really fit, fitter than I've ever been. And in the process of doing that, I knew I was going to get cold because I feel the cold now. And so I thought, if I'm going out walking, I'm going to need to wrap myself up. And this is the hat that since October last year I have worn for walking, which has now turned into jogging. And so this hasn't been stuck in the cupboard. This is in the pocket of my coat that I wear when I go walking.
Right.
And I haven't actually had it on my head for a few days because it's getting warmer now. And that's why it smells.
You don't need to know that, but believe me, it won't smell in about 5 minutes. So.
What colour will the water be?
You know, well, I don't even
know. I don't know. So we've covered all the back hits. But then we thought how cool it would be if we were to talk about our favourite project that we've ever knit, of not just ourselves, but also each other. So, do you want to start?
Okay. Look, I'm just knitting on my...
No, we're not doing what's on your needles.
I'm sorry. So, the favourite... No. What am I doing?
This is a new section just for the special one-off episode, and it's called What's Your Favourite Project?
So, is it my favourite... Which one are we doing first? My favourite project that I've made, that you've made? What?
It's What's Your Favourite Project?
That I've made.
I don't know. Oh, take your pick.
Right, okay. Favourite project that I've ever made? Yes. Right. Well, it's really difficult, as you know, any knitter will tell you. It's very difficult to narrow it down. And I've actually got 3 things, because the first thing I've not actually finished yet, but that really is one of my favourite things. So it's still on the needles.
Okay. So you'll have to tune in to the next episode of the Bakery Bears podcast to see that.
I don't need to show that. No. Right. It's something I show regularly on the normal podcast, so okay.
Podcast? People may be looking and wondering, what are they talking about? We have a podcast. We started a podcast after I had my first operation last April, was it?
Which was something entirely unrelated to...
Which is this...
To the cans, to the
enormous,
doily.
Yeah.
Something entirely unrelated.
This enormous scar here.
Happened prior to him being diagnosed. He was diagnosed in July, and his neck all happened.
Can I just say,
in April. We've not spoken about this on the podcast
and
that we do.
Won't.
We won't, because that's not what it's about. But this is a special thing. So yeah, Dan had quite a major surgery on his neck. You can probably see the humongous scar. That was on the 1st of April last year.
April Fool's Day.
Yeah, can you imagine?
What happened the day before, Kay?
My cat died.
Talk about bad omens.
My cat died the day before. She was 19 years old. Lucy.
Oh.
That's all I'll say. But yeah, she died the day before. Dan then went into hospital on the 1st of April, so it's almost a year. And had a lump removed from his neck, and he'd been having tests on this lump for the best part of a year.
We'll be away, won't we?
Yes, we'll be
That's
away.
That's so cool.
We'll be away when it's the 1st of April, yeah. But he'd had tests on this lump for many, many months going up to the surgery. We didn't know what it was, and basically they just said it's getting bigger, we've got to take it out. So that's what they did. And then we had to wait a couple of weeks, and we found out it was a very rare, benign tumour. Incredibly rare, literally a handful in recent history. But it was benign, and that was the end of that.
Can I just... I was out for dinner with a colleague with my work just the other week, and it came up in conversation, the cancer that I'd had, that you all now know that I've had. And obviously in the process of having that cancer, I had to have something removed. And he thought that was the scar for me having one of my removed.
How that would happen, I don't know.
Can you imagine? Right, okay, oh...
But the surgery to your neck, it was very traumatic, and it's a massive scar, and he had staples. I think I counted them, there was like 20 odd metal staples going all, it was like Frankenstein going all the way down.
This is for blooming people who bought the pattern for friends, so they can see a picture. A
picture of the staples?
Yes.
Oh, good Lord. So anyway, that was all fine. And then we were just getting over, and we decided.
I was laid in bed maybe pre the op or after the op, I can't remember which, it must be after the op, and I just thought about all the things that I wanted to do, and one of the things that I really wanted to do was, I'd started knitting a little while before, and I really wanted to do something with Kay, really, really tight together,
And I'd, when, all that happened with your neck, I'd been umming and ahhing a long time about writing down the pattern for my bear. And I'd always resisted it. I just thought, I couldn't possibly write a pattern. And that kind of prompted me to write the pattern down. And then...
What bear?
Not that one. Not that one. So, I wrote the pattern down, and then we decided, okay, for absolute fun, let's just sit and record a one-off podcast. It literally was a one-off podcast. We had absolutely no intention of doing any more.
Well, they can see. You can go back, if you want to see, you can go back and watch episode 1 of the Baker's podcast.
Yeah.
And you'll hear us say many times,
yeah.
This is, I'm sure, a one-off.
Absolutely. And we just thought, after everything that had happened with his neck, we just wanted to do something fun, didn't we?
Something
we just
fun and positive together.
Yeah, something fun and positive. So we sat down and we did this. And that's really the start of the podcast. But then, that happened it was July, wasn't it?
Little did we know.
Mid-July, just
the podcast
out of absolute nowhere.
Would be the one positive thing.
Yeah, out of absolute nowhere, Dan got this diagnosis, and then we were on that whole journey. So it's been a very trying year altogether, hasn't it? But a lot of positives have come out of it.
Yeah, I can't think of last year in anything other than a positive way.
No. Because you get through the bad stuff, because you've got to get through the bad stuff. But lots of good things happened. We've made so many friends, and
Was it all of these people?
Yeah, all of you, and
but I'm sure there'll be lots of people who are new friends.
Who don't know who we are.
Yeah. So if you want a real journey, go back at episode 1 and watch the podcast. And all I would say to you is, I can't watch episode 9.
No.
And I don't know if I'll ever be able to. Someone said to me, why don't you take it down? But I think it's important that it's up there, because then you do see... And I think it'll be important for me and us to see how bad I got. So, yeah, episode 9. Stick with it. Don't stop at episode 9.
No.
Episode 9, you might think,
no.
Can
you imagine if somebody randomly just chose episode 9 as the first one to watch?
This. Episode 9.
Gosh,
Maybe I should put a note on it.
Yeah, there should be a note on it.
Stick with us, please.
It's not always like this.
So
that's a little bit of a ramble as to, how we got to where we are now.
And I can't even work out how we started on that when you were talking about your personal project.
I don't know how that... I could talk about going off on a tangent. Right, so the favourite thing that I've knit is my French can-can shawl. This is a pattern, it's on Ravelry, and I think it's by Mademoiselle C. I think that's the name of the person. But if you just look up French can-can, you will find it. I knit mine in Madeline Tosh Merino DK, which is a single ply, and it's in winter wheat. And it's the most beautiful pattern. It's very simple, actually. You start up here, and you knit all that garter section to a certain... I think it's a certain number of stitches, or is it? I think it's a certain number of stitches. You'll see anyway if you buy the pattern. And then this is an applied border, so you then start working your way this way with the cable and the lace, and I just think it's the prettiest thing ever. And it's very easy to wear. I love the shape. It's super long, which I really like, and I should put it on, shouldn't I? I'll take off my...
What is that you're wearing?
Well, this is a Handbrake.
Ah. And who's that by?
That's by Dan.
And
me.
Yeah.
So that's my Handbrake, and I knit that in Tosh Vintage. But I'll pop this one on, and this is generally how I wear, and I think how all of us, really wear our shawls. And there we go. And I wear this a lot. It's just very easy and comfortable to wear, super snuggly. I just love it. I love everything about it. So I would say that's the favourite thing that I've knit.
Nice.
And what about you, Dan?
The favourite thing that I've knit, it's very tricky because I sway towards this.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably your favourite.
But I love knitting this.
You did a very good job with that.
I mean, I really, really love knitting this, and I look forward to making another.
It looks tiny because you've got it doubled over. It looks like super small.
So here is your Handbrake. So that is a joint of my favourite ever project. And now, what is your favourite ever project that I knit?
Favourite ever project?
What's the other thing you brought down?
Oh, it's very confusing. This is my favourite thing that Dan has knit. And the colour's totally not showing up. But this is a honey cowl. This is the two twin skein
Countess Ablaze.
Cowl of Doom. This is actually a bright cerise pink. No, cerise pink. Is it cerise? I suppose it is cerise, but look at the colour. I mean, it blows out totally. Take my word for it. It's a beautiful pink. Magenta. It's not magenta. Anyway. But it's Countess Ablaze. DK, I can't remember the name of the type of the it's something DK, I can't remember what it was. But it's Tiffany's lipstick was the colourway. So you knit this, didn't you? And it's a double loop.
Yeah, and it took him
forever. I think you used about a skein and a half in the end, just because you lost the will to live. But I think it's plenty deep enough, and I'll do another swap, shall I? Because it doubles over, so I don't think it really needs to be super wide, super deep. And it's perfect. I love it. It's my favourite thing. And it was going to be a gift, but I stole it.
And then what is...
It's a gift for me.
What is...
What's your favourite thing that I've knit?
Yes, it's this.
Oh.
I love this. And I actually modelled this
Was
it episode 6?
Can't remember. Put it on.
This is so cool. It's so cool.
Yeah,
it looks like something you bought.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I might knit another one of those, actually. I'm not a huge garment knitter at all, but that I really enjoyed. And it's the Irish Coffee by Thea Coleman, I think. Is it Thea Coleman? And I knit it in Rowan Pure Wool Aran a couple of years ago. I knit that now. So I might do another.
Look, we have a little guest presenter.
Aww.
Who is this?
I can't remember his name.
This is Charles Bear.
Charles.
And was it Charles who got drunk and ruined our podcast? And I had to sack him from editing duties.
I think so. And Greedo took over.
Yeah, he did. And here is Greedo Giraffe.
He took over.
He did indeed. Aren't they? And both those yarns are from Michelle.
Michelle. You're better at it because you can sing. I can't.
Everyone can sing. Now, on our podcast...
My hair's doing a weird thing.
On our podcast that you've learnt all about now, that we started last April.
May.
Oh,
I need to go and look what that is. That's just come through the letterbox. It sounded heavy, didn't it?
No. You're joking.
No, I'm not joking.
Oh. Kay is making some special edition bags. On our podcast, we do something called Favourite Places to Knit. And what we do is we go to all the places that we love to go and sit and knit. And they're normally historical. And we go there and we give our viewers a bit of the history of the place. Now, we've just done 3 episodes on Rome. And as part of that, Kay's made some cool bags.
I have. And
today's Wednesday though, so they've got another day.
I'm going to have to make some zipper pulls though.
She is instead they're making some special edition zipper pulls.
Well, I ordered, the bags are made and they've been made for a week. This is what's so frustrating, but I ordered something very specific for the zipper pulls.
And you've been let down by an extremely useless shop.
It was an eBay shop. It didn't arrive, so I contacted her. She said she'd sent out a replacement, which she sent out on Monday, and it still hasn't arrived. I asked her yesterday what method it had been sent, and hopefully sent it first class, seeing as it was a replacement. So she didn't know because the lady who posted things was at the dentist.
Slick operation.
Will I be using that shop again?
No. And if they don't arrive tomorrow, you'll be emailing her for a refund.
Yeah, if they don't, I mean, I'm now going to make some
special edition.
I'm going to make some zipper pulls this afternoon now. And hang on a minute.
Hold the phone. What is it? What is it?
Oh, damn.
Are they here? What is the date on there?
I can't believe it.
What's the date on there?
There's no date on it.
Oh.
Second class, though.
Oh. You see, that could be the first ones that were sent. Would you believe that they have arrived? Show them, because the bags will have already gone on sale. How exciting is this? They better be good.
They better be good.
It's going to be... Oh, you see, that's Nero.
Well, I'm going to take that off.
Right.
And put on...
Wait till you see this. This, we've just done...
Oh, I can't believe these. Can you believe?
That it's arrived just when you're here. We've just done 3 episodes all on our own, which I just started to say. She's made these amazing bags, and we decided we wanted to put something on, something quintessentially Roman. Kay has just released a shawl, which I'm wearing, called Messalina, and Messalina's husband was Emperor Nero. Emperor Nero, when he was emperor, brought out some coins, and here is a replica of said coin.
Ta-da!
That's perfect. Let me look.
Now I'll be taking that off and putting on a normal one of these actually.
I think all the bags will be sold by the time.
Oh right,
people see
of
this.
course.
Sorry everyone.
You know, I'm sorry to. Just a normal lobster. I'll be replacing it with that. But yeah, I cannot believe.
Let me see.
And look,
There
there's a
it is.
note
Oh, oddly.
with nothing written on it. Oh,
There
not
it
an
is.
apology or anything.
How cool
This is
that?
dated the 12th of March. I wonder if this is the original one. That
You're going to get
didn't
2
come.
lots.
Well, if I get 2 lots, then, you know, so be it.
Result.
Unless they just reprinted the thing.
I think second class. It's every possibility that this is the original lot.
Unbelievable.
What a cool bupper pill that is. If you want to know what a bupper pill is, go watch the Knitting Den podcast.
There's no way of knowing what date that was posted.
No.
I do wonder if they never posted them.
Yeah, well, that was my theory.
And it was somewhere, you know, they'd just left it, and the
Yeah.
silly woman who went to the dentist didn't post it.
She was too quick to offer to
Yeah.
to repost them. Anyway, they're here.
Oh,
How exciting.
that's made my
So,
day.
as part of our podcast, we do something called Favourite Places to Knit. We take people to historic places, we knit there, and we give you the history. We've just done 3 episodes on Rome, and we've spoken all about the conquering of Britannia. But the one thing we never did was we never came and showed you any of the native Britannics. Oh no, that doesn't sound right.
Britannians.
If you live Britannians.
Yeah. Britons.
Britain.
Isn't it Britons? No.
I think it is now. Well, anyway, they were Celtic tribes. One of the biggest were the Brigantes. The Brigantes' main hill fort is no distance really from here at all. And we decided to go there for a favourite places to knit. But then we got there and there was a problem.
I don't know what you're talking
There
about.
was nothing there to see.
Oh, no, there wasn't.
Well, it's not strictly true, because now I'm doing down what you're about to watch, which actually ended up being pretty cool. There's not a lot to see. You just have to really dig deep to find it. Basically, a hill fort was pretty much made of wood. So when it goes, it all rots away. And the other thing is, this hill fort used to have 85,000 people living there. So this was big. So the inside of this hill fort has now been farmed. And when it's been farmed, it's dropped in height. And they built a little village there that we drove into called Stannick.
Lovely little village.
Was the village called Stannick? St John. Stannick St John, the village is
Yeah,
called.
yeah.
Lovely little village. And then we did eventually manage to find what historic remains there is.
Not a lot.
There isn't, but let's go have a look on a very special favourite places to knit.
Welcome to Favourite Places to Knit.
It's going to be a short one. Unfortunately, the weather's been against us again, so we thought we would bring you to Stannick Iron Age fortifications. Do you remember when we were at Piercebridge? We told you that Stannick Iron Age, I think we call it palace then, it's not a palace at all. It's a fort full of roundhouses. Now, all that's left, and really all that's left, is this. There is a bit of wall that we will show you in a little bit, but to give you an idea of this, it doesn't look particularly impressive at the moment. I suppose other than the fact that the bank that's right behind me is crumbs, 2,300 years old. It was built by the Brigantes. The Brigantes were a tribe that were friendly to the Romans, but then became unfriendly. So they built this wall, and on top of this wall they also built a big, well, it's not a wall, it's a mound. On top of the mound they built a big stone wall. But this ditch, over the course of time, this has filled in by 2/3, and the top of the mound has eroded by 1/3. So that means that it would have been, when the wall was there as well, about 18 metres high. So that's seriously high. So this is the corner. The fort itself is behind. We'll show you some pictures of the fort in a minute. There's nothing left of that, unfortunately, because it was all wattle and daub round houses. You know, the round houses that have the conical roofs. It was all of those. But there's a cool queen who lived here called Cartimundua. Sounds very Star Warsy. And yet we'll go and have a little look at the wall that's a little bit further down and show you a bit of that. And unfortunately, that's going to be it. So who were the Brigantes? The Brigantes were a tribe of Celts. Now the Celts were the people who lived in Britain before the Romans arrived. So the Romans arrived, the Celts were all here, and they needed conquering. Now some of the Celtic tribes were friendly, some of the Celtic tribes were not, and the Brigantes were friendly. Their queen, Cartimundua, we've already spoken about, she was an amazing lady because she was queen. She was the only queen at that time. Boudicca is often spoken of, or Boudica, but she was not a queen. This lady inherited her throne through bloodline, so anyone she married became king. Now she lived here at this fort, lots of round houses, and her king, Venetius, she got bored of him and she married his armour bearer. Now Venetius, he decided to become leader of the revolt against her, and the first time he tried to defeat her was in the mid-50s, and the Romans sent troops and she was okay, but the second time, in 69 AD, unfortunately the Romans didn't get here in time and she was defeated, but the Romans did get here in time to save her. So Cartimundua, an amazing lady. Here I am on top of the fortifications looking down, and that is the enemy side. And as we look around here, you get to see the vastness of Stannick. The walls are about 5.6 miles long, and in here is where, if we were to dig all of that, we would find lots and lots of roundhouses. Now, when I say lots and lots, there was 85,000 people who lived here. So here I am at the foot of Stannick Iron Age camp, and if you look behind me you can absolutely see what an amazing sight that is. You don't really get the full perspective, but that's about 18 metres high. This place was excavated by a guy called Mortimer Wheeler, and this is the bottom of the pit, and it would have been as deep as this all the way around, but as you can see behind me, that's about as far as he got. You see the land level up there. So he excavated this, and he put all that back together, and that now is called Mortimer's Wall. Behind me is the village of Fawcett. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's actually the first time we've been to Fawcett, but look behind me. If I was an archaeologist, I would love to dig these earthworks. There'll be so much history here. You'd get so many finds out. It's amazing. Check out all these lumps and bumps behind me. Can you see them over my shoulder? Now these aren't little hills. These are all parts of Stanek Iron Age camp. So if we were to excavate under there, we would find remains of walls and all sorts. And it was built in 400 BC. So it's nearly 2,500 years old. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I was positively depressed as we were walking back prior to doing that filming.
Yeah, you were.
Because we were like, what we're going to do on the podcast? And then Kay said she had this superb plan. Use this for the special episode that we've recorded for you here today, for the people who bought the pattern, and do some extra filming, which we did on Saturday.
Yeah.
So I think that pretty much covers our
I think so.
special episode. In a nutshell, thank you.
Thank you.
The pattern is 20% me, 80% Kay.
Pull these trousers up.
Yeah. So thank you for buying our first joint project.
Yeah.
I hope you really, really enjoy knitting it, and I hope please spread the word to anyone who you think appropriate, and let's show our support for cancer. Let's knit something amazing, and if we can, let's create some new knitters.
I didn't say as well when we were talking about cancer, but I lost my sister to cancer 8 years ago. I think it is coming up now. How old's Bryony? Yeah, it'll be 8 years in June. I lost to ovarian cancer. She suffered for many years, and lost the battle, unfortunately. So it is very close to my heart and to our heart and my family's heart as well. So,
and I think, and I've said this on the podcast, but I hope there'll be people here who've never watched the podcast before. The chances are high. I was reading a report just today about cancer and about how so many more people are getting it now. But that doesn't mean you need to worry. And the reason why you don't need to worry is that they're getting so much better at curing it. Or if you get a bad one, sustaining your life. So whilst more people are getting it, they're getting much, much better at looking after the people who do have it. But just think, you've bought this pattern, you've just watched this podcast, this special episode, which I hope you've enjoyed, and by doing all this, you've actually helped cure cancer, because the money is going to cancer research. So it's a win-win for everybody.
yay.
And on that note, I think we should say goodbye. So it's goodbye from me, Max, and it's goodbye from...
Me, Ruby.
Yeah.
I want to change my name to Ruby.
And if you've enjoyed this at all, then please do come and give our podcast a watch. It'd be great to see you.
We've never said that before.
No.
You know, we don't really advertise.
Well, we don't advertise.
We don't advertise at all, because
It's not what it's about.
no, it's not. That's not what it's about.
It's
but that
about
is-
us doing nice things together. So please
Go and
do.
wash that hat now.
Please do come watch if you've enjoyed it. If you haven't enjoyed it, then don't come watch, because you won't like it.
That's awful.
Thank you and good night.